All right, get ready because today we're going deep on something I think a lot of you guys dream about. Solo travel.
Ooh,
We're
yeah.
going to go way beyond the usual, pack a charger and stuff.
Right.
We've got this script here, and our mission is to pull out the best stuff about how to stay safe and
Absolutely.
have a truly amazing solo adventure. The kind of trip that leaves you feeling empowered,
Right.
not just relieved that you made it back home.
Totally. And what I think is really cool about this script is it's not just about physical safety. It's
Right.
about this deeper level of feeling confident that comes from knowing you've got everything covered,
Yeah.
even before you leave home.
Okay, so let's break down that pre-trip time. Research is always the first thing,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But we're talking about more than just finding the, best places to take pictures for Instagram.
For sure. It's about making those potential problems as small as possible by understanding the place you're going. Like, think about those local customs that you might not know about, or even researching the different neighborhoods,
Yeah.
even learning some basic phrases. And I don't just mean hello and thank you,
Right.
but like phrases that could help you if you're in a tough spot.
Like, does this bus actually go to the city center? Or help, just in case.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a good point. I'm going to download that language app before I go.
Good idea.
Now, this script also talks about travel advisories. And honestly, I sometimes just glance at them and then I ignore them.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Should I be taking them more seriously?
They can be really helpful, especially if you're traveling to a place that's maybe politically unstable
Yeah.
or prone to natural disasters. These advisories come from a lot of different sources,
Mm-hmm.
and they can give you up-to-date information on possible safety problems.
Okay, so it's not just about avoiding those tourist traps. It's about being aware of potential dangers
Right.
that I might not even think about. Now, what about this idea of making a super detailed itinerary and sharing it?
Yeah.
Isn't that a little too much?
I don't think so. Imagine this. Something unexpected happens and someone needs to find you fast. Having that itinerary with your flight info, hotel details, even the stuff you're planning to do,
Yeah.
it could make a huge difference. It could mean a small inconvenience instead of a big crisis.
That's true. It's like leaving a trail of breadcrumbs for your loved ones to follow.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus, maybe it'll help me be a little more organized, which, let's face it, it's not my strongest point.
I hear ya.
All right, let's talk about packing. The script says to have digital A&D paper copies of important documents.
Right.
Why is that so important?
A lot of people forget that technology can fail.
Oh, for sure.
Your phone could die, you could lose it, or it could even be stolen.
Oh, yeah.
Having physical backups of your passport, visa, travel insurance,
Right.
and other key documents means you won't be stuck somewhere without any ID.
That makes total sense. I've totally had my phone die at the worst possible time before.
Oh, tell me about it.
Now, the script also stresses how important it is to have those emergency contact numbers easy to find,
Yes.
both on your phone and written down somewhere. What exactly should we be putting on there?
Think beyond just saving those local emergency numbers. It's super important to have the contact info for your country's embassy or consulate in that place you're going.
Okay.
Imagine you need help in another country. Knowing exactly who to call can save so much time and stress.
I wouldn't want to be freaking out trying to Google that in a panic.
Right.
So, embassy details, check. What else should be on that emergency list?
Think about any medical conditions you might have and jot down the important stuff.
Yeah.
Allergies, medications, your blood type, anything that doctors or nurses might need to know in an emergency.
Right.
Having this handy, especially if you're in a country where you don't speak the language, could be a lifesaver.
This is like a whole side of travel planning that I haven't thought much about.
It's interesting, right?
Yeah, it's like building your own personal safety net, but one that you can carry with you.
Precisely. It's all about giving yourself the tools and information to deal with anything that comes up.
Yeah.
It's not about living in fear. It's about traveling confidently and with peace of mind.
Okay, so we've done our research, shared the itinerary, backed up our documents,
Yes.
and got those emergency contacts all sorted. Now it's time for the fun part. Packing.
But remember, the script says to pack smart, not just light.
I knew you were going to say that. You're about to tell me why I don't need to pack this huge first aid kit.
Not necessarily.
Ah.
It's about being ready for those common travel things without packing too much stuff.
Yeah.
A good travel first aid kit is definitely smart.
Okay.
But think beyond just bandages and painkillers.
Right.
Consider packing electrolyte powder for dehydration, especially if you're going somewhere hot.
Okay, good one. Electrolyte powder? Check. And I'm guessing a portable charger is at the top of that smart packing list, too.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of travelers don't realize how much they depend on technology when they're abroad. Your phone isn't just for snapping pics. It's your map,
Yeah.
your translator, your lifeline for communication. Having a portable charger, especially for those longer trips, or if you're going somewhere without much electricity, can be a lifesaver.
True. I would hate to be stuck somewhere with a dead phone and no way to get back.
Yeah.
Any other tech stuff that people often forget?
Think about checking out offline maps for your destination.
Oh, yeah.
Not everywhere has reliable internet, so downloading maps ahead of time can keep you from getting lost.
Good point.
And if you're going to a place with different electrical outlets, a universal adapter is a must-have.
Right, noted. And while we're on the subject of technology, the script mentions something called RFID blocking.
Yes.
Can you explain what RFID is and why solo travelers should care about it?
Sure. RFID stands for radio frequency identification. It's a technology used in lots of credit cards, passports, even driver's licenses.
Uh-huh.
Thieves can use RFID readers to steal your information wirelessly, and you might not even notice.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah.
How can we protect ourselves from that?
That's where RFID blocking comes in. There are wallets, passport holders, even bags with special materials that block RFID signals, stopping those thieves from getting your info.
So it's like an invisible shield for your personal data.
You got it.
Okay, RFID blocking wallet added to the list.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how much thought goes into packing smart for solo travel.
It's a whole process.
It's not just chucking clothes in a suitcase. It's about planning for problems and having the stuff to deal with them.
Exactly. It's about taking charge of your safety and creating a travel experience that's fun and empowering.
Yeah.
And with a little planning and preparation, you can totally do that.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. Research, planning, backing up documents, emergency contacts, and smart packing.
Lots to do.
It's a lot to take in, but I'm already feeling more prepared just talking about it.
That's what we want. Knowledge is power.
For sure.
The more you know about those risks and how to handle them, the more empowered you'll feel to enjoy the awesome parts of solo travel.
So we're packed, prepped. Now what?
Now the real adventure starts. But before we jump into those on-the-go safety tips,
Yeah.
I think it's important to acknowledge the mental side of solo travel safety.
Ooh, interesting. Are we talking don't talk to strangers kind of stuff?
Not really. It's about something much deeper, a change in how you think that can completely change your whole solo travel experience.
Okay, now I'm really curious. Let's unpack that in the next part of our deep dive.
When we were getting ready for this deep dive,
Yeah.
one thing that really stood out to me was how much of solo travel safety goes beyond just the practical stuff, like checklists and tips and all that.
Okay, I'm listening. Tell me more. What's the secret to staying safe, but also really enjoying the solo travel thing?
It's about having this mindset of empowered awareness.
Okay.
It's not just being careful. It's about listening to your gut, that inner voice
Yeah.
that often knows more than we think it does.
You mean like when you're
Yeah.
walking down a dark street and you just get this feeling like something's wrong?
Exactly. There's research that shows that intuition is super important when it comes to figuring out if something's risky.
Really?
Our brains are always taking in info, even if we don't realize it.
Right.
And those gut feelings, they're often based on these tiny clues that we might not even notice.
So it's not just being paranoid. It's like our internal alarm system trying to keep us safe.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's be honest, sometimes those alarms go off even when there's no real danger. How do we know when to trust those feelings and when to just chalk it up to nerves?
That's where the empowered part comes in.
Okay.
It's about being really aware of yourself, your body, and your emotions.
Yeah.
Things like mindfulness and meditation can be really helpful for getting better at that.
So it's like we're training our gut to be more accurate, like a muscle we can make stronger. I like that.
I like that too.
Now, the script also mentions blending in, but it seems like that advice can clash with like wanting to express yourself, especially through how you dress. How do we balance staying safe with staying true to who we are?
That's a great question. It's not about hiding your personality or dressing like everyone else.
Right.
It's about understanding the culture and avoiding things that could make you stand out as a target.
Okay.
Like in some places, showing off expensive jewelry or carrying designer bags could attract unwanted attention.
So it's like reading the room, basically. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to finding your way around a new place, I love using those navigation apps.
Oh, yeah, me too.
But I know there are some safety things to think about.
Absolutely.
What does the script say about using those apps in a safe and effective way?
The most important thing is to pay attention to your surroundings while you're using your phone.
Yeah.
Don't be so focused on the map that you don't see pickpockets or other dangers.
I've totally done that before.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I get in this little tech bubble and forget I'm in a crowded place.
Exactly. And remember that in some areas, using your phone could make you a target, especially if it looks expensive. Think about using a simple phone case.
Okay.
Or even practicing your route ahead of time so you don't have to look at your phone as much.
Those are great tips. Speaking of planning, the script also suggests sharing your live location with someone you trust back home.
Yes!
I can see how that would be useful in an emergency, but isn't that kind of giving up some privacy?
It's a personal choice, but it can add an extra layer of security, especially if you're traveling solo. Think of it like a digital safety net. Someone back home knows where you are.
Yeah.
And can contact the authorities if something happens.
I can see how that would be really helpful, especially if I'm going somewhere off the beaten path or exploring more remote places.
For sure.
Now let's talk about one of the most exciting parts of solo travel. Meeting new people.
Oh, definitely.
But safety is super important here too. What are some ways to connect with people while still minimizing those risks?
The script says public places are key for those first meetings. You know, cafes, museums, group tours, those kinds of places offer a sense of safety and accountability.
Yeah.
And if you're not sure about someone, trust your gut.
Right.
Don't feel like you have to talk to them if you're not comfortable.
That's a good reminder. Sometimes we feel like we have to be polite even when we're getting bad vibes.
Exactly. Your safety comes first. And remember, you don't have to be super outgoing to enjoy solo travel.
Right.
It's totally fine to just enjoy being by yourself and taking in the world around you.
Now, the script also mentions drinking, which can be a tricky thing to talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially when you're alone. What's the main takeaway there?
It's not about not drinking at all.
Okay.
It's about being aware and responsible.
Yeah.
Remember, alcohol lowers your inhibitions, which can make you more vulnerable.
Right.
Pace yourself. Pay attention to what's going on around you, and maybe stick to 1 or 2 drinks, especially in a place you don't know well.
It's like that saying, loose lips sink ships. But in this case, it could be loose lips lead to dangerous situations. So moderation is key when you're in charge of your own safety.
Absolutely.
Now, the script also talks about being ready for emergencies, which we touched on before, but it's worth repeating.
Definitely.
What are some of the essential things to have in case something unexpected happens?
We talked about having emergency contact info handy, but it's also super important to know where the nearest hospital or clinic is.
So maybe even mark it on my offline map.
Exactly. And don't forget about basic first aid. Taking a first aid course before you go can give you the skills to deal with minor injuries or even help out in a more serious situation.
That's something I hadn't thought about, but it makes so much sense. A little knowledge can make you feel way more prepared.
For sure.
Now, the script mentions a backup plan.
Yeah.
What exactly does that mean?
It's about having other options ready if your original plans don't work out.
Oh.
Like if your flight gets canceled, do you have another place to stay booked? Or if the tour you wanted to do is full, what's your plan B for that day?
So it's like having a plan A, B, and C for everything.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I'm starting to see how all these small things can really add up to feeling more in control and confident. It's not about getting rid of all the risks.
Right.
It's about making them smaller and knowing what to do if something unexpected happens.
Exactly. And by thinking about those potential problems and having backup plans, you free yourself up to really enjoy the trip, knowing you've got things covered.
So we've talked about a lot, from that empowered awareness to navigating safely, meeting people wisely, and being prepared for emergencies. It's been a lot of info, but honestly, I feel so much more confident about my next solo adventure.
That's great to hear. And remember, knowledge is power. The more you know and have strategies in place, the more empowered you'll feel to embrace all those amazing things that come with solo travel.
Now, I know we focused a lot on safety.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember that solo travel isn't just about avoiding danger. It's about enjoying the freedom and the joy of exploring the world on your own terms.
Absolutely. And that leads us to the next part of our deep dive.
Okay.
Where we'll talk about the power of solo travel to change you.
Yeah.
And how to truly make the most of this awesome experience.
Okay, I can't wait to hear more about that. Let's switch gears and explore that side of solo travel, the part that makes our hearts sing. The adventure, the self-discovery,
Yes.
the pure joy of being out there in the world and seeing everything through our own unique eyes. All right, so we've talked a lot about solo travel safety, all the practical tips, the mindset shifts,
Yeah,
and how important it is to be ready for anything that might come up.
for sure.
But I think it's time to change gears a bit and talk about the other side of things, the side that makes all that prep work so worth it.
The reason we do all this, the magic of solo travel.
Exactly. Because solo travel isn't just about avoiding danger, right?
Right.
It's about embracing a whole new level of freedom and self-discovery.
Yes.
It's about going outside our comfort zones and experiencing the world in a way that's totally unique to us, to our interests, and what we want to do.
You got it. It's about creating your own adventure, one that really speaks to you.
Yeah.
Maybe that's trekking through the Himalayas.
Wow.
Or maybe it's getting lost in the streets of some ancient city, sketching in a quiet cafe, or learning how to make pasta from scratch in an Italian village.
Ooh, that sounds amazing.
It's all about giving yourself permission to say yes to the things that make you curious.
Yeah.
Even if they seem a little scary at first.
I think that's what draws so many people to solo travel.
Yeah.
It's not just about seeing new places, it's about seeing ourselves in a new way.
It's about peeling back all those layers we've built up over the years, those societal expectations and self-doubts.
Yeah.
And finding out who we really are at our core.
Right, and that's a really empowering experience.
It is. It's like solo travel becomes a mirror, showing us a more authentic, braver, more vibrant version of ourselves.
And that version, once we see it, it often starts to show up in other parts of our lives too, right?
Absolutely. We come home feeling more confident, more willing to take risks,
Uh-huh.
and with a deeper understanding of what we value and what we want.
I've definitely felt that myself.
Yeah.
After my first solo trip, I felt like I could handle anything.
That's amazing.
It was like I unlocked some hidden superpower.
I love that.
Now, the script also talks about trying things outside of our comfort zones, which we've touched on a bit.
Right.
But I think it's worth exploring a little more.
Definitely.
What are some specific ways we can push those boundaries and really get the most out of that solo travel experience?
It could be something as simple as trying to talk to a local in their language,
Yeah.
even if you only know a few words.
Right.
It could be trying a food you've never heard of, or going off the beaten path to find some hidden gem that most tourists don't know about.
It's about being spontaneous, being open to new experiences, and saying yes to adventures that might take us a little outside of our comfort zones.
Exactly. And even if those adventures don't go exactly as planned, even if there are some bumps along the way, those challenges often become the most memorable and transformative parts of the trip.
Because those are the moments that test our resilience, right?
Yes.
Our problem-solving skills and our ability to adapt to new situations.
And those are the same skills that help us not just in our travels, but in everyday life too.
So solo travel becomes this training ground for personal growth,
I like that.
giving us the tools we need to face any challenge with confidence.
Absolutely.
Now, the script also talks about capturing those experiences through journaling and photography,
Yeah.
which I know are both really powerful ways to process our journeys and make those memories last.
They are.
What are your thoughts on using these practices while traveling solo?
Journaling can be so therapeutic and insightful. It's like having a conversation with yourself where you can explore your thoughts and emotions freely.
And it's amazing how much we can learn about ourselves when we take the time to really think about our experiences, right?
It is.
Patterns emerge, insights become clear, and we often discover a deeper understanding of what drives us and what we truly desire.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be this long, detailed account of every single day.
Right.
Even just writing down a few key moments, observations, or feelings can be really powerful.
It's about creating something tangible, something to hold on to,
Yeah.
so we can revisit those memories long after the trip is over.
And then there's photography, which is a way to not only document our travels, but to see the world through a more artistic lens.
Photography can be so powerful for capturing those fleeting moments of beauty, wonder, and connection.
It is.
It makes us slow down to really see what's around us, to appreciate the subtle details of light and shadow, and to find beauty in unexpected places.
It's like training our eyes to see the world in a new way, to notice those little things we might otherwise miss.
And whether we share those photos or keep them private, the act of taking them can make our travels so much richer.
It really can.
It's about creating a visual story of our journey,
Yeah.
A collection of moments frozen in time that we can go back to whenever we need a little inspiration or a reminder of why we love to travel.
Now, as we wrap up this deep dive into solo travel,
Yeah,
I want to emphasize that it's not a one-size-fits-all experience.
right.
There's no right or wrong way to do it.
It's about honoring your own needs and preferences,
Yes.
whether that means embracing solitude, connecting with locals, joining group tours, or finding a balance somewhere in between.
The key is to listen to that inner voice.
Yeah.
Follow your curiosity and create a trip that feels authentic and fulfilling to you.
So as we say goodbye for now,
Yes.
I want to leave you with this thought. Solo travel is more than just a trip. It's an invitation to become the most vibrant, the bravest, the most authentic version of yourself.
Love that.
It's a chance to rewrite your story, discover hidden strengths, and create memories that will stay with you forever.
So embrace the unknown. Pack your bags with curiosity and courage.
Yes.
And go on that solo adventure you've been dreaming of. The world is waiting.
Safe travels, everyone. And may your journeys be filled with wonder, self-discovery,
Yeah.
and the pure joy of experiencing the world on your own terms.